Okay, let's say you're a parent and your 9-year-old kid comes in the door and says, Daddy, Daddy, my friend down the streets, his dad's the coolest dad in the neighborhood because he just let him get 2 hamsters. He took him to the pet store and let him get 2 hamsters. All right, so not to be outdone, you say, look, let's go down to the pet store. We'll get you a pet. We'll get you anything you want so you can regain that throne of greatness and being the coolest dad. So you walk in the pet store, tell your son or daughter, hey, look, go get anything that you want. Any pet you want, Daddy will buy. And then they walk out with a ball python. So now you're thinking, oh, I don't know how to take care of a ball python. I can look stuff up on the internet and say, oh, how do I take care of this ball python? You get all kinds of information out there from people you're not really sure if they're accredited or not. So what I'm going to do is give you the education on the basic cares of a ball python. And we're going to cover the basic care involving habitat, which will lead into enclosures and environments. And then we will discuss how to feed and what to feed your pet snake. Or if you are just actually watching the snake for a friend, if they go on vacation or something like that. All right, so now we have to take care or we own a ball python. All right, we need to take care or look at the first basic needs of that snake, which is going to be the enclosure. We need somewhere to put the snake first before we start to feeding or anything else. All right, so a couple different enclosures out there for the snake, and it's going to be either you can put them in a cage or a glass aquarium. Those are the 2 most popular ones. Now, Kevin McCleary, who is a herpetologist, writes that glass aquariums are usually the best suited for the snakes themselves because first of all, they come with a locking lid. Most come with locking lids, and you want a locking lid to be able to secure your snake. Another advantage to glass aquariums are the fact that you can regulate the heat, which needs to be between 90 and 97 degrees. And then you can also regulate the humidity, which needs to be right around 80 degrees or 80% humidity. It's a lot easier to regulate than a cage. So you do have that going, but you do need to make sure it will secure, just because of the fact that snakes can scale glass and cages, and they can get out. So even if you do choose a cage, which is not recommended, just ensure that it does have a locking lid. All right, inside this enclosure, we need to put a habitat or an environment. Inside of our habitat, we need to place an environment. And herpetologist J.M. Marthens also writes that you need to mimic the snake's natural environment. And the natural environment for a ball python is usually wooded areas, not too much wetland. They're not waterborne snakes, but you do have to put some items in there. And the first one we're going to discuss is hides. The snakes do like to be secluded, and it doesn't have to be anything fancy. They sell them for a few dollars down at the pet store, and all the snake needs to do is just crawl in, either a hauled out piece of wood or decorative rock that they can be hollowed out and go right in. For the bedding, you want, they sell reptile bark, or you can use shredded paper. The reptile bark is designed for the snake itself, whereas the shredded paper, which is inexpensive if you shred your own paper, will serve the same purpose. And they're not burrowing snakes, so you don't have to worry about that. For water feed needs of the snake, you have to, all you need is a small dish of water. They are not waterborne snakes. So a small dish will do them perfect, and just change it out 1 to every 2 days with fresh water. All right, so now we have a safe place for the snake to live. Let's look at what do we feed the snake. And a lot of different theories out there, but herpetologist D.G. Barker states that they'll eat captive snakes will eat mainly on mice, rats, and rabbits, and the size of that will depend greatly on the thickness of the snake itself. They usually come in 2 formats. You'll get them live or you'll get them frozen. It is preferred if you are a new snake owner to feed frozen, but some snakes will not eat frozen mice, and you do have to feed them live. But it's easy both ways, and you can get a lot of documentation on it from the pet stores themselves. They need fed every 7 to 10 days, and that's going to be depending upon the snake itself. Some snakes, while they're in shed, will not eat. They will usually go up to about 1 week after before they will start eating, because of the soreness of the body that they go through while shedding. And also, new environment, a snake to a new environment will also usually take about 2 weeks. 2 weeks to start to eat again. Now, I've given you the basics on how to care for a snake. Let's recap real fast. We looked at the environment and what we need inside that environment, and then we went ahead and looked at what to feed. We know we need to feed to the thickness of the snake with regards to feeding, and with regards to environment, we know we need to mimic their environment as much as possible. Now that I have given you these basic fundamentals of taking care of a snake, you can better understand what your snake needs to be happy and have longevity within life.